We have a problem that I need to address. And this video is for young, ambitious, and athletic women only. So if you do not associate with those characteristics, please leave this video. And I'm not saying that to be rude. It's just I don't want to waste your time. This is an act of kindness. I value your time, and this is not for you if you don't associate with that. But if you do, welcome. This video is exactly for you. And I also know something else about you. I know that you have so much potential to become an influential leader and make an impact. I know that, especially if you grew up playing sports. I know that you have a natural gift to be competitive, to be independent, to be goal-driven, and that you believe that you can achieve anything that you put your mind to. I know that because I'm the same way. And this is amazing. I'm so grateful that I have these qualities. But the thing is, with the advent of hustle culture and feminism, it has told us that we need to be ashamed of our femininity, that femininity is weak, and that we need to sacrifice it for us to achieve success. But not only are we sacrificing our femininity, but we're sacrificing our mental health and our relationship as well. How is that helping us? And that just leaves us insecure, unfulfilled, unhappy, and ultimately not able to reach our full potential, which is counterproductive to what we actually want in life. Don't we want to be leaders? Don't we want to lead people towards a greater cause? Don't we want to be influential and make the world a better place? We cannot sacrifice our feminine energy for us to get to where we want to go. It is absolutely necessary, and that is the missing part. I know that that's you because that's me. I have the same pains. I have the same desires. And maybe we have similar upbringing as well. So my whole life, I grew up playing sports. And growing up, I was being rewarded being in my masculine energy. I was always naturally disciplined, ambitious, hardworking. I was always giving my best because I wanted to be the best. And it's been rewarding because today I'm a professional athlete. I play soccer for a living. I basically achieved my dreams. But why don't I feel fulfilled? All I see is that I had become hyper independent. I was extremely lonely and overly self-critical. How is that great? How is that achieving the dream? And it's so funny because this journey is supposed to be the most rewarding, yet I felt like this brought me my biggest pains. I felt like I was actually deeply suffering. So for a long time, I disregarded those feelings because I feel like that's what it meant to succeed, That's the price you had to pay. But it's not true. And the one day where I realized that something had to change was I had a weird, crazy, unique panic attack while I was sitting on my couch in 2020. And I'm not someone that has panic attacks. That was the first one, and I've had only 2 in my whole life. But I was sitting on the couch, and that day I thought I was going to die. And usually panic attacks are rooted in anxiety. And I was someone that never associated with the word anxiety. I was like, I'm not anxious. Even though my ex would always tell me that I'm anxious through my behavior, I told him, no, I'm not. Because I thought that anxiety meant that you had a voice in your head that was always yelling at you, being critical, like telling you self-doubts that you are a piece of shit or negative things. But my inner voice was just always never settling for good. It would always try to get more. It would always tell me what I needed to do better. And I thought that that was a tool for me. I didn't realize how negative that was for me. So I had a rude awakening that day. And when I had the panic attack, I was so disappointed that I was going to die, because you literally feel like you're going to die. And that I never actually felt fulfilled and happy and at peace and joyful. It became obvious to me that day that I was really actually ruled by anxiety. I was feeling restless all the time. I could not relax. I was emotionally numb. Like I could not feel the lows or the highs in life. I was just numb all the time, not feeling much. And then I was always rushing. I could never take my time. I always felt like I had somewhere to go or something to do, and I was never actually present. And the worst of all that is all my relationships suffered because of it. So I was living my life through this masculine lens where all my achievements took precedence over my pleasure and my self-care and my well-being. So I knew that something drastic had to change for me to actually change and feel better and actually feel like I'm going to reach my potential and have the fulfillment that I'm looking for. So this is what we're going to do. This is what the video is about, because I'm going to give you a solution to that, because this is the journey I've been on for the last year, and it's really completely changed my life. And I know that in 2020, that's when my panic attack came about, but it took me years to figure out like the secret sauce. You know, I tried so many different things. After that, I went to therapy. I changed my diet. There was a lot of steps I took, but it wasn't until last year that I discovered something in my self-development journey that really changed everything for me. And it's all about your feminine energy. And I know that for you, you might be resistant to that because it's hard. It feels like it's very mystical, and you're someone that probably loves logic. Like I was like that. I always loved logic. Things always had to make sense. I always had to analyze things and be able to explain them. But I promise you, I can actually explain this for you to understand how it's missing in your life and what you can do to actually get it reignited and use it to fuel you and actually balance you out and actually become the leader that you want to be. And I know that if you are ambitious and successful and you have that inner leader in you, you have a growth mindset. So use this growth mindset right now to actually try to listen to me and see how this can apply to your life, because this could completely change your life. It did for me. This is the missing piece in your life. It's not a new productivity app. It's not a checklist or a new book you have to read or, a routine you have to try. It is your feminine energy that you need to nurture. And if you want to become that influential leader, that impactful leader in your career or whatever, you cannot sacrifice your most important gift given to you as a woman. So you need to let go of the shame and misconception about the feminine energy. And before I touch into how to bring back to life that feminine energy inside of you, I'm just going to go through some of the misconceptions that you need to be aware of before we get started. So the first thing you have to understand is you need to stop blaming men. So a lot of times us women, we love blaming men for being the root cause of our problems. But by doing that, by pointing fingers, it takes all of our responsibility away to actually take care of ourselves and heal. Because part of the feminine energy is to heal. And if you start blaming men, it gives all of our power away. And you have to realize that men nowadays are extremely weak. They're broken, they are hurt, and they're not getting better. And the only way they can get better is if us women around us get better, because for men, we women are the most important thing in their life. We are the most valuable thing in their life. So if us women, we raise the standard, we step it up, we heal ourselves, we empower each other, men won't have a choice to do the same for themselves. And then we can work together. The second thing that you have to be aware of is that femininity is power. It's not weak. It's actually very difficult to be in tune with your feminine energy because you have to be gentle with yourself. It's so much easier for us to put a shell around us than be vulnerable. Like, one of the best ways that I like to think about it is when you go to the gym, for me, and if you're similar to me, you'll understand this, it's so much easier for me to bench press than to stretch. Stretching is difficult because you have to be patient. You have to breathe through the pain. You have to wait and let it sink in and take your time and go slowly. I hate stretching. I mean, I used to hate stretching. Now I'm learning to love it. But that was the hardest part for me. Doing a chest press, I mean, give it to me. I'm going to power through it. I'm going to have all this adrenaline, this testosterone going. I'm going to give my all. I'm going to feel like I'm going to compete. I love that. That's easy for me. But the stretching part is hard. So you have to understand that if you learn how to embrace the hard part, which is tapping into your feminine energy, that will only empower you, because you're going to be resilient and you're going to work through things that are difficult and that you're going to have to be disciplined. Like, this is only going to benefit you. And then lastly, femininity is not a one size fits all. So it doesn't matter your sexual orientation. It doesn't matter what you identify as. It doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. Everyone has feminine energy. Everyone has masculine energy. And the way that feminine energy looks to you will look different to someone else. And this is amazing because we are so unique and everyone expresses their feminine energy differently. And that's what makes it so beautiful. And that's what makes us so interesting as human beings. So understand that what works for me might not work for you. But now I'm going to go into how to heal that feminine energy and bring it back to life and habits that you can have. I'm going to give you 10 of them, 10 habits that you can do to raise your feminine energy. And I'm going to give you ideas, I'm going to give you concepts, and you're going to be the one that's going to have to apply it and learn and see what works for you. Number 1 is all about nourishing. Nourishing your body, nourishing your mind, and nourishing your spirit. It's very straightforward. How do you nourish your body? Are you putting healthy foods? Because we are what we eat. The foods that you eat affect everything in your body. It affects your hormone, which affects your mood. It's very important that you are conscious about the foods that you put in your body. So if you want to be more in your feminine energy, you have to be mindful of the quality food you put in your body and not consume highly processed, sugary, fatty food. It's very simple. You know what the healthy foods are. So check that. Make sure that you're healthy. And then you need to have a healthy spirit. So what is your connection to your spirituality, to your religion? For me, I did not grow up religious. And the concept of God always felt scary to me because it felt very secular. I didn't understand it. And I felt like, it was this story. And I felt like people were delusional about it. And this is no disrespect. I'm just saying like my childlike perception of God. And if you want some advice of if you were like me, did not grow up religious, what you can do is be curious about Buddhism. So what really introduced me to spirituality was learning about Buddhism, because Buddhism doesn't have any gods. And that felt like I could understand it. And it's all about philosophies of life. And ultimately, it brought me to one thing to another. And today, I do believe in a God. I do believe in a higher power. It might not mean the same God as Christians, for example, but it's still a concept that it's a higher power. This world is so magnificent, and there are so many things that we cannot explain, that we'll never be able to explain. And all the unknowns that will forever be unknown to me is God. It's not necessarily this human-like figure up there that dictates everything that happens to you and gives you karma or anything like that. But it is this powerful essence surrounding this whole universe, this power. And that is God to me. And that is beautiful. When I really tap into that spirituality, and I love reading books about Buddhism, Taoist, or whatever it is, it's very secular. And I love it. I really love it. So that's something that you can explore. And then finally, like, nourish your mind with quality content. So you probably are a huge consumer of social media right now, because aren't we all? But you have to be mindful of what you consume. So I'm going to be lying to you if I say I don't consume social media. But what I consume is very intentional. I consume long-form podcasts. I consume audiobooks or digital books. I read studies. I read PDFs. Anything that I follow, anyone, any organization, has to be aligned with what I want in life. So I'm not going to consume someone else's content that makes me feel shitty or uninspired or brings in negativity. So be aware of anything that you're consuming, whether it's food, whether it's how you nourish your spirit or how you nourish your mind. Now, the number 2 is having a stress relief practice. And like I said, I wasn't someone that identified as stressful, like as a stressed person, but I definitely was stressed because my body was giving me tons of signs. So you need to find some sort of ritual that helps you calm down when you feel restless. So maybe you're someone that actually does have that stressful, negative talk inside your head, but you, in that case, can start journaling or finding a way to meditate or quiet those thoughts. But if you're someone like me that doesn't really have an awareness of those stress indicators besides maybe feeling restless, that's when I know that I need to tap into my ritual. And my ritual, one of them is I shower. And I love going in my shower and cleansing my body and having my self-care routine, my skincare and all that, because in that moment, it's like you're almost mindless and you're taking care of yourself. And that is the moment where my mind drifts and I become the most creative. One of my best ideas come in the shower. So it always like revives me when I shower. It's a good practice that I like to have. It's something that when it's later in the evening and it's time to shower, I know I'm about to de-stress and get ready for bed. Something else that you could also think about is reading fiction. So I'm someone that used to only read nonfiction books because it's all about self-development and getting better and learning. But sometimes have fun and read a fiction book, because it's different than watching TV. If you watch TV, you could be consuming things that just fries your brain. You don't want that. You want something that is peaceful, and you learn a lot about, your vocabulary, you gain wisdom, you're better at understanding people, at remembering, you work your cognitive abilities if you read. It's like proven. It's so obvious. We've been told that our whole life, and it makes sense. Books is one of the best way to nurture your brain. So read fiction. It's so fun. If you have a fiction book that you've read, you should put it in the comments so other people know where to start. But I read the ACOTAR series lately. I'm not done with it because I literally would become obsessed and I need to like set a timer because I will not stop. But that was amazing, and that just gave me so much life, and it was so fun. So finding your style of fiction books could also be helpful. And then finally, I just want to put something here, like just be mindful of the caffeine you have, because if you have caffeine too late in the day, it's just going to add unnecessary stress for you. I used to be someone that drank way too much caffeine, and then I couldn't wind down at night, and then I would wonder why I was feeling restless. I mean, I was pumping tons of caffeine in my body. Number 3, you need a positive attitude. You cannot have space for negativity in your feminine energy. So that means that you cannot engage in any drama. That just shouldn't even be part of who you are. I love being positive. It just brings not only better health and mental space for you, but for everyone else around you. And I have a good example. It happened the other day. So I just got into a new club. I play for a new team now. And I've decided that I will not follow other people's negativity just to fit in. That's a bad habit I had with my previous club. If someone was negative, at some point it became so heavy and so discouraging that I just succumbed to other people's behaviors, and you kind of just match the energy and you feel more negative and you feel more depressed. And I realized how I wasn't helping. I was contributing to the problem by not stepping up. So now being in this new team, I get in the first day, we get our new gear, and it's always fun to get new gear. And Nike, for some reason this year, has decided to go with crazier colors. Like, they're not as classic as they used to be. They just have more colors, and that is fine with me because I'm someone that's actually started to add more color, and I know you can't tell because I'm wearing such neutral colors, but what I like to do is have a lot of neutral tones together, but have an accent of color. Like, that's my new thing. Either my shoes, my previous video was my headband, it could be my purse, whatever that is like a good color, a beautiful color. Even my apartment, like I have things like that add just some accents of color. I love it. So I was excited to see the gear, and I liked it. I liked the gear. And initially, the default of players is to be like, oh, look at the new gear, and like they're almost waiting to complain. And some people are like, this is interesting, and like you could tell that they wanted to be like, they didn't want to feel excited. It's almost like people feel ashamed when they say they like something, almost that if they do like it, they're afraid that they're the only one that likes it or whatever. So I just came in and said, oh, I love this. This is great. I love the color. Even though like I like it and I'm not that excited about it, I almost just reminded myself that you need to be positive and uplift people, because a lot of times people like don't really have an opinion and they're just looking to other people's opinion to create their own. Like they're almost just waiting to have someone else tell them what to like. That's the reality of a lot of people. So just by me saying that, I saw a lot of people just go on with what I said and be like, yeah, I love it too, when they had 30 seconds prior to make a comment and I was waiting to see what people had to say. But then I stopped it and I went in and said that I love it and I was super positive, and I could tell that most people just kind of got into that same energy and everybody said that they liked it. And I was like, oh, that's so easy. So now I just like take pride in positivity, and that's such a good way for you to be in your feminine energy. So a good advantage of being positive is that when you're in a situation, it doesn't mean that when bad situations are happening that you should be delusional about it. Like you should still look at situations that need some fixing and, you know, realize what it is and fix the problem. But by being positive, it makes you more optimistic and able to look at the situation and be a problem solver and be creative. Because when you're negative, you almost feel like you're irresponsible and that you have no control over a situation. But when you're positive, it gives you that boost that anything is possible if you just try to find a way to make it work. So this will only benefit you. Okay, so number 4 is you need to build relationships. And one of the bad habits that I had being in my masculine energy is becoming hyper independent. I took pride being alone. I became an introvert. I always was an extrovert, and then suddenly I became an introvert because I couldn't connect with people anymore. I just felt like we weren't on the same page and I couldn't find people to connect with. But if you want to nurture your feminine energy, it's all about connecting with people. It's giving your time and energy in people that you love and care for. That's so important because we are social animals and everyone needs that. Anyone that is on this earth needs connection. One of the biggest signs that someone is depressed is they feel lonely. And this is a huge red flag if you feel lonely. So you need to invest in your relationships and the relationships that matter, not every one of them, because a lot of them are toxic. And even if you are with people, you might feel lonely because those are not people that energize you. They don't match your energy. You need to find the people that you care about and nurture that and invest in that. And you know what? If you meet new people, actually get to know the people. Ask them questions. Get to know them at a deeper level. Remember their birthdays. And especially remember their name. Your name is the most beautiful sound you'll ever hear. So when you get to meet someone new, make sure you remember their name. And when you see them again, say their name. People love to hear their name. And that's a way like where people can feel like they like you right away and they'll want to invest in you back because they'll want to be around you. And then that could be the beginning of a real genuine friendship. So yeah, the feminine energy is really rooted in connection with people. So try to work on that. And then number 5 is investing in growth. So this is very important because a lot of us are very hurt and broken. But it doesn't end there. You know, this is our story. We can heal. We're not attached to our failures or our shortcomings or our flaws. We can work to get better, whether it's through coaching, through therapy, through buying books, or like, you know, I got this for Christmas, actually. It's like this shadow work journal where it gives you prompts and it makes you work on your, like, healing your inner child. So it's so important to invest in your growth because no one's going to do it for you. Like, you're the one that's responsible to get better. No one's going to come and save you. And sometimes, you know, when we become an adult, we feel like we're making money, and then it's like, okay, well, you have your basic spending to do, but then what's with the leftover? What do? Like, your financially responsible. You put money in your investments, you put money into, like, you pay your bills on time. But then that extra money, what do you do with that? Do you buy new clothes? Do you buy new shit you don't need, new gadgets? Do you just buy what every influencer has? Or can you use this money to invest in your future? Because money is meant to be spent. And when you spend money on things that matter, of good quality, it is a good return of investment. You will always make more wealth back, whether it's in your wisdom and knowledge or your relationships or actual more money. If you spend your money wisely, you will get a better return of investments. So make sure you spend your money wisely in things that matter, in things that will elevate you. Okay, number 6 is to make sure you have some practice and engage in reflection. So one of my favorite ways is by journaling. I love journaling because I've mentioned that a couple times, but I have a hard time like feeling my thoughts. It's almost like I can't hear myself. It's so strange. And often, if I want to know my thoughts, I'll either actively speak to myself out loud. Like, it won't be me speaking out loud because I'm subconsciously doing it. Like, I'll be telling myself, okay, I need to speak to myself out loud and verbalize what is mingling inside of me. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if this is strange, but this is just the reality. But a good way also is just journaling. If I just write down, I have tons of journals for different aspects of my life, and it just helps me so much to see what's in front of me. And if you can, put down some reflection on your 5 most important things in your life. And I took this from Bedros Keuilian. It's your 5 F's: your family, your finances, your fitness, your fulfillment, and what's the last one? Faith. Obviously, because it's the one that is the hardest for me because it was not part of my life. So you want to look at those 5 F's, and then with that, you write down what you want, where you're at right now, what can you do to get there. And it's so important to do that because that way you're giving yourself some blueprint for behaviors in your daily life, because you put in your mind, like, you have a clear idea of where you want to go, and it helps you make decisions in your daily life. It makes you make better choices that align with what you want. But if it's just inside of you and it's not clear and you're just clouded by all the things that you see and consume and the marketing around us, you're not going to be clear about what to do. So self-reflection is really good. And then that way it makes you ask deeper questions. What's holding you back? What limiting beliefs you have about yourself? And what you can do to actually heal. Now, number 7. Number 7 is cycle syncing. Because us women, we are so special and amazing because we have a menstrual cycle. And this is wonderful because that allows for a lot of prediction. If you think about men, they are ruled by their testosterone. And their testosterone is so dominant in their life in so many different areas where it can change based off, like, if they see violence, if they play video games, if they, see a sex scene, if they see guns, literally, like, that boosts their testosterone. If they talk about politics, there are so many things that can affect their testosterone, and it goes up and down, and they are so unpredictable. Meanwhile, women, we are predictable. We have a cycle, and you'll know exactly what hormones are dominant based on the time of the month. Like, one of the arguments for men is that women were so unpredictable because of our mood changes, but it's the opposite. We're actually the most predictable because we know when our mood will be different based off the time of the month. If we're closer to our period, we will have PMS. And it's normal. Our moods are going to be lower. We might be more irritable. We might need more sleep. And that's why cycle syncing is important, because if you understand your cycle, you can adapt and make sure that you can thrive based off the time of the month. So closer to your period, it's normal that you crave more carbs because your progesterone is asking for more carbs. It needs sugar, and you should nourish your body with more carbs. But at the beginning of your cycle or towards ovulation, you don't need that much sugar. And you thrive on a lower sugar. And that's when you can do marathons if you plan a marathon. But if you're closer to your period, you might need more rest. You might need to change your fitness routine and be more gentle. And that's normal because you don't want to add more cortisol. Like, everything makes so much sense if you take the time to understand your cycle. And if you want to be connected to your feminine energy, is to learn how to optimize your hormone throughout your cycle. I love that. And if you want to know how, I have so many videos. Literally, go on my channel and just look through my videos. I have some about hormones. I have some about the fasting, all of the habits that you need to stop. I mean, I have tons of videos about that because I'm passionate about it. I love that. And it's really something that's changed the game for me, especially fasting. So you should check those out. All right, now let's go to number 8. Number 8 is appreciating nature. And that's something that actually feels good now that I'm in Raleigh in North Carolina, because I've been in Chicago for 5 years and nature was not around me. You know, I love the city. I really love the city, but I did miss like the big trees around me. I love trees. I'm more of like a mountain girl than a beach girl. And coming here to Raleigh is such an opportunity for me to connect with nature. And what I love about Raleigh is like, there's trees everywhere. It's greener. There's a lot of farms nearby. There's farmers markets. You know, there's so many opportunities to connect. And the reason why you want to connect with nature is because we are one with nature. And our feminine energy, especially for women, do you realize that our cycle is 30 days, which is exactly the amount of days for a month? Like, how amazing is that? We are literally one with nature. And we are one with season. If you break down our cycle, it's like the season of nature. Like, winter is your PMS and summer is your ovulation. Like, we have so many things that align perfectly with nature, and it's not a coincidence. It's because we are one. And that's beautiful. So find a way to maybe go outside and feel the sunshine on your skin, or ground yourself being barefoot in grass. Or if you see a dog, don't shy away. Just ask to pet the dog and connect with animals. Like, animals is also a huge way to connect with nature. When I like to go outside and I see a squirrel, I actually like to just stare at the squirrel and see what it does and see how their little brains work. This is such a cute like way to just connect with nature and feel just connected with your feminine energy. Something that I actually want to do more is buy myself more flowers. I feel like if I had flowers in my apartment, it would be kind of just such a romantic way to romanticize my life and feel like the main character. I think if you put yourself in the mindset that you are the main character of your life, like imagine yourself being on a reality show and having a camera crew just following you everywhere, how would you want to romanticize your life? So that might be bringing in flowers, or maybe having your own little garden, or having your little tomatoes grow, you know? Be creative with that. And that is just so primal. And I love that. Like, this is who we are at our core. Okay, now let's go into number 9. Number 9 is about creating beauty. And beauty is extremely powerful to the feminine energy. Beauty is also subjective. So what's beautiful to you might not mean much to me, but that's okay, because it is simply a form of self-expression, and you will do that for yourself. So one of the things is, like, I've always loved makeup and I've always loved fashion, but not to an extent where I'm passionate about fashion and I know everything about it. I just always loved to dress well. And I've always loved to look good. But for a long time, I felt ashamed of that, because in my world, in the athletic world, a lot of girls don't like wearing makeup, or a lot of girls don't like to put time into their style. You know, they just kind of wear whatever gear they're given, or they wear athletic clothing and don't really think too much of it, or they'll wear the free stuff that's given to her. But especially the makeup, like, I felt judged for wearing makeup to training. But this for me is my way to self-express. It's my way to be creative with myself. I love having my lipstick and my gloss on. I love having my eyebrows done. I love putting on my mascara. And sometimes I won't have makeup, and that's okay. But I like feeling judge-free towards myself when I do wear makeup. And I'm not saying that you need to wear makeup for you to feel creative and beautiful. I'm just saying you need to feel free to explore and self-express. That's it. Maybe to my teammates, they might not need to wear makeup or dress better, but they should find a way to express themselves through maybe art. Maybe they'll start painting. Maybe they'll go to pottery class. Maybe they'll go to a theater class. Whatever. It's so important to find beauty around us. Even just looking at the sunsets and appreciating it is a form of beauty. But I think the creativity part is what's amazing. Another thing that I really love, that I really want to mention, is I love my apartment and having to design like my apartment how I want it, because it's so important and powerful to feel comfortable in your environment. The way that you set your environment, it sets the tone for what you deserve. So if you have a clean, organized, the aesthetic that you want, it tells you that you are worthy of that environment. If you keep your environment dirty, disorganized, plain, not really reflecting who you are, it's really difficult to thrive, because that gives you the message that that's what you deserve, which is not the case. So be mindful of what does your environment look like. Yeah, so I love talking about beauty. Beauty is very important for me. And I think that's something that I used to be so ashamed of, but I'm learning to embrace it, and I'm happy to talk about it and explore it more. So that will be a topic for other videos. And now finally, let's go in the 10th and last habit. It's practicing the art of receiving. So oftentimes when you're in a masculine energy, it's all about doing and chasing and getting after it. But your feminine energy is the one that accepts receiving. You're receiving the help from others. You are receiving gifts. And it doesn't necessarily mean like you receive a brand new pair of earrings. It could simply be like the gift that will help you in your career. It also means receiving advice from people. It's so easy. Like, that's something that I'm so guilty of, is when I'm in my highly masculine energy, I don't want any help. I can do everything by myself. Of course I can do anything by myself. But I have nothing to prove. I can accept help from people that love me and care about me. By me refusing help means that I'm refusing their love. Just think about that. And if you want to build the connection, which is part of the habits, you need to accept the help that others are willing to give you. And I'm giving you that advice, but that's the advice I literally give to myself. Everything in this list is advice that I give to myself, because I'm really not perfect. I'm with you. I'm also trying to work on my feminine energy. But I promise you, the moment that you decide to flip the switch and work on it, you will see a massive difference in your mood, in your productivity, in your mindset, just achieving what you want to do. You will feel so much better because you are more creative, you are more wise, you are more connected with people, and ultimately that complements your masculine energy, and it allows you to reach your full potential. So yeah, I hope you really liked this video, because this video was really made for you. This whole video was all about you. It's not about me. Like, obviously it is stuff that I would tell myself, but this is to give you some value for you to get better, because together, if we both learn to work together, we can make the world a better place. I can't do it by myself. I really can't. But we can do it together. And we will create a tribe of people that are similar to us. And my goal is to make sure that you become the leader that you want to be, and that you lead your people with your message, with your mission in life, and then we help heal the world. We need more people like us, but we need to heal ourselves first before we think of healing others. And that starts by reigniting your feminine energy, so then you can capitalize with your masculine energy and get after you want. So if you want a little bit more pump and motivation, you can watch my video about the game, about the masculine and feminine energy. I just did it. that one will like pump you up and you will feel so inspired. So I hope you go watch it. And it's a different vibe than this one. Brace yourself. If you're not ready right now, it's okay. Take a break. But when you're ready to get after what you want, go and play that game with me. I promise you. I'm giving you tons of promises today, but I just feel like what I'm giving you has so much value. So I'm excited for you to hear that because it's helped me so much. Everything I say has helped me so much. So I can't wait for it to help you. So yeah, I need you. We need you. We need you to get better, and you're so close. You're going to achieve great things, and we're going to do this together. So yeah, I love you so much. I will see you soon this week in a new video, and take care of yourself. Mwah.